Welcome back to yet another episode. So today's video is going to be full of surprises. There is something PENTAX has claimed. Technically, they are telling the truth, but I don't even think it's something that should have even been brought up or mentioned whatsoever. With that said, we're going to be looking at the new capability of the crop modes, both 1.3 time and 1.7 time crop modes, in regards to how many shots do you get until the buffer is filled. Yeah, I am disappointed. I am. Technically, PENTAX wasn't lying. If you're talking about the raw output, Jpeg was completely different than my previous testing on older firmware. And yeah, let's just get into the setup and fire off some shots and count how many images you get until the buffer's filled for full image, 1.3 time crop and 1.7 time crop, and that'll be it. Okay, so just like last time, I'm going to start this off shooting raw with no crop whatsoever, full image. So let's see how many we can actually get. Okay, so that was 33 images with the full the full image with no crop. So let's go to crop here. And whoops, let's go to 1.3 time crop in raw, and let's see what happens. That actually doesn't seem to be any better than it was before. It looks like less images for the burst than shooting the full image with no crop. So very interesting. I guess we'll find out what happens when I switch it over to Jpeg, but as of right now, this seems to be exactly the same as it was before. Okay, so in 1.3 time crop mode, it actually gave 35 images versus the previous 26 images. I know that there were the two afterwards. I subtracted those. So it's 35 images for the entire burst. So now let's see what happens if we go to 1.7 time crop. And again, this is in raw. Again, it doesn't actually seem like it's giving many more images than the previous video that I did. Yeah. Interesting. All right, well, I'll count these out and then we'll switch over to Jpeg. Okay, so that actually gave a whopping 36 images. 36 versus the 1.3 time 35. Crazy. So it has been increased. I'm actually just joking. That's not good enough. So let's just go switch this to Jpeg. And now let's see what happens. Turn off the crop mode entirely. And so here's the full image with no crop mode. And we'll see how many that is. Okay, so in Jpeg, it actually did 44 images versus the raw 33 for the full image with no crop. So let's see what happens, because last time the 1.3 time crop gave 35 images. So let's see what the 1.3 time crop does this time in Jpeg. Okay, so that actually gave 13 extra images. It actually shot 48 images. Interesting. So, I mean, yeah, I guess it may have been increased. Yeah, it's been increased from previously. Only when talking about the raw images there's been an increase. Not a lot, but it is an improvement, I guess, technically speaking. Let's see what happens if, let's see what happens when we go over to 1.7 time crop mode and fire away. I think that's way less than what it was before. Let's find out. So that actually gave 53 images in 1.7 time crop mode versus 36 images in RAW. That doesn't sound like an increase compared to the 100 and something I got previously. So this is quite interesting. For the 1.3 time crop mode, yes, the images have been increased. Not by a whole lot, but they have been increased. Technically, PENTAX isn't lying. Is it a huge difference? No, absolutely not. I don't think it's really even worth them mentioning because it's really not that much of a difference. I did redo these tests at ISO 100. And the results were exactly the same. So it has nothing to do with processing of higher ISO images or anything like that. The buffer is what the buffer is. And yes, the numbers have increased. Have they increased enough to really brag about? Absolutely not. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, so like I said, disappointing. Technically, yes, they weren't lying. It's kind of like Walmart, the cheapest prices. Instead of something at $3.99 is $3.97. Technically, it's true. Is it really worth bragging about? Not really. But that's it for this video. If you like the video, leave a like. If you have not already, please do subscribe. Always helps out. You want to support the channel, you know what to do. Always read the description. I put some info in there that y'all should be aware of. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And that's it. I'm going to go. You'll see me on my next video. I'm out.